direction. Okay, today guys, I'm going to be showing you how to wax your underarms in real time. You're going to be able to grab your kit and wax your underarms right along with me. I do have another tutorial up that's like a sped up version of just the steps and how to go through it, but you're going to be able to sit here with me with your kit and do everything that I'm doing right now. So the first step, you want to have cleansed hands and you want to have your gloves on. You can use one glove or you can use two. I'm just going to use two to make it easier. And you're just going to cleanse underneath your arms. I have deodorant on, so you want to make sure you get all that deodorant up and any sweat that you might have underneath your arms. Now obviously you can do this shirtless or just with your bra on, but for the purpose of the video I'm going to be having my shirt on. And these are just cut up paper towels that I'm using. You can use paper towels or you can use a cotton swab. These are like a certain brand of paper towels that kind of act as a cotton swab, so that's why I use these kind. Not like any that has like lint in it, because you don't want the residue to be underneath your arms. And then you want to make sure that you already have your wax melted. You can see my wax is ready because as I'm twirling it, it's not coming directly off my stick, so that means it's at a good temperature. So after we've checked that, I'm gonna go in with baby powder. You guys have baby powder in your kits. You can either just sprinkle it into your glove or you can go in with another cotton swab.
Now this time Michelle isn't talking about her trailer.
And I'm just doing it like this so that I don't get it all over my clothes. And I'm just, after I put it on the napkin, I'm just pressing my hand into it so that's a little bit on my glove. And I'm gonna go under, I'm gonna tuck my shirt, and I'm just gonna go like this.
But she's still planning on going back out. When Lori leaves, she sees Michelle letting the dog back into the house.
And then I'm gonna do my other one. And you can just do one arm at a time, because if you start sweating due to the wax, you might have to apply a little bit more once you get to this arm. So I'm just applying it, making sure that everything is covered and dry. And I'm just gonna be using a little mirror in front of me so I can see what I'm doing. So you can do this in the bathroom, whatever you choose to do.
No, this wasn't real.
And then before you apply the wax under your arm, you always want to check it on the inside of your arm to make sure that it's not too hot. And if it feels a little warm, once you take the wax out of the pot, as you saw me twirling it earlier, just twirl it for a little bit so it has a little bit of time to cool and then apply it. But I just applied it to my arm and it feels good, so I'm just going to press that into my skin. And once you lay your hand over the wax and your glove doesn't stick to it, that's how you know the wax is ready to pull, and it comes up just like that.
So they drive to a local Taco Bell in town and they make the 911 call from there. Now I'd love to be able to play the 911 call for you, but the original tape was lost and all you have are the recordings from the videos taken in court.
And then you can either do whatever is most comfortable for you. You can do one big strip, or you can do like two smaller strips, whatever you're comfortable with. Me, I normally try to do one big strip, and then I'll go back in and clean up whatever I don't get. But you want to try to press all the wax off your stick as much as you can, and then you're just gonna cover all that hair up, still trying to get all the wax off your stick. And you're gonna push, apply lots of pressure, and push it into your skin.
Daughter, Kara, has always wondered,
and I'm just cleaning up my border to make sure that whenever I pull it, it comes off in one big strip.
We don't have the answer to that, but it's something that will always
That's what it's looking like. And we're just gonna give it a couple seconds to dry. And if you ever drop like wax on your floor or get it on your clothes, don't try to clean it up immediately. Wait until it fully dries, because once it fully dries, it'll usually just peel right off the floor, right off your shirt, or right off your counter. So we're just gonna wait for that to dry. pushing the wax into my skin.
Where Lori said she saw Michelle's
And it seems like it's
And
dry.
when Lori
So you're gonna
said
lift
to
from the
the
end.
operator
I have
to
this
use
little
the
flap
cylinder
right
that had
here,
been crushed,
and then you're just
what she
gonna
didn't
pull
know was that
like I
Michelle
did
had
this
been
way, and you're
shot
just gonna
with
pull
a
in the
shotgun
opposite
multiple
direction.
places. But the final blow
Just
was
like
to
that.
her face, just to the left of her mouth.
And
that
this
was
is
shot
the
that killed
strip.
her.
Afterwards,
When investigators looked
it
for
pretty
physical
much
evidence,
got
they
mostly
didn't find
everything.
There seemed
I'll
to be
probably
no
do
blood injury, but that's not too
one more strip
surprising
the
since
other
Lori
way,
said Michelle
just to make
probably
sure it got
left the door
everything.
unlocked to let
But
people
it pretty
in.
much
But there
got
was
everything
something
off in that one strip.
The colored line seemed to have been
So.
ripped from the wall.
Now don't worry if yours doesn't come off as clean. I've been waxing for a couple of years, so typically my hair is gonna come up a little bit easier
Lori and
and
Tom
cleaner
are taken to the police station
than
and both
some
their hands
people's.
are tested for gunshot residue, which both come back negative. Lori tells police her story of finding Michelle,
So
leaving
we're just
out the
gonna wait
fact
for
that
that
Lori
one.
and I
So
did
normally I
not
use
get
about
jobs,
4
but someone
sticks because I do
else said.
2 strips on each
Additionally,
underarm.
while this is
but
going
don't
on,
worry if you
police
have
are
to do
worried
more.
about Michelle's tumultuous
And this is
relationship with
probably
Charles. And so
maybe
the
like 2
detective
months of hair
sends them
growth
to the house that he's
underneath
staying
my
at around
arms.
5:30 in the morning.
You can wax your underarms every 4 weeks or whenever you want to. Just make sure that the hair is long enough to actually wax. So same thing, applying pressure after you pull it. Sometimes I forget to apply pressure on myself just because it's not that much pain. And this one had just a tiny little bit of hair in it that didn't come up on the first pull, just a few loose strands. So again, I'm just gonna check to make sure everything's gone. And then we're just gonna move on to the other arm. And we're gonna do the same exact
The house
thing
he was staying in is treated like another crime scene.
on
They search
this
high
arm.
and low.
And then at this point, if maybe you got hot from waxing the first arm or depending on how long it took you, you want to double check to see if you're sweating. And if you're sweating, you can apply a little bit more of the powder, but if not, you can just go right
They
in
find a couple of specks of blood, one on his white tennis shoe that
with
had
the
no laces,
wax,
one on his
doing the
sweatshirt,
same
and one on his
thing,
bedding.
applying
Finally,
pressure.
They did another GSI.
Now obviously you are at like an awkward angle,
and multiple
so
swabs taken from
it
his
might
left
be a little
palm,
harder,
left back,
but it
right
doesn't
back.
have to be perfect. You just
All
want to
came
smooth
back
out the
with
wax the
significant
best you
amounts of
can,
antimony and barium and lead showing positive
covering up all the hair. And like I said, you can do one big strip or you can do
This seems
2 smaller
like
strips,
an
whatever
open
you're
check
more
case. A
comfortable
woman was
with.
murdered with a shotgun.
Pressing
The
that part
man who
into
has
my skin.
consistently had police reports filed for beating the living
And as you
crap
can
out of
see,
her, has the
coming
same
up with no
gun in his
problem.
house with shells in his
So-
attachment and blood on his stuff, and witnesses who allegedly heard this man threaten
Just
to
like
blow
that.
her head off, which is exactly what happened to her.
All
It
the
didn't take long
hair.
for police to build a case against Charles Allen.
And I feel like I'm sweating just a little bit.
Everything I listed
So I'm just gonna
above
go back with that
mostly
same
was
pressing motion
circumstantial.
and just
Some
add
of
a
the
little
shells
bit
in the garbage
more
seem to match
powder.
the scene, but it's not 100% exact science. And the problem was they didn't have the gun. Even though he had 2 shotguns in his house, the one
And
that
then we're
was used
just
to
gonna
kill
go the
Michelle,
opposite
wasn't
direction.
but police thought they knew why. He had actually bought a
And then if you
brand
ever
new
get
weapon
to where
from a
like
man just 2
you
days
feel like
before
you
the
needed a
murder.
little
This
bit
man
more
testified
wax,
by
don't be
trial that
afraid to
Victor
go back
Charles
in and
Allen.
clean your
So
strips
this is
up
another
with a
shotgun
little
that
bit
they
more
never
wax, which I think
able
I'm
to
gonna
load.
do. So I
So they
didn't
can prove
fully
he bought it.
cover up all my hair.
All
So you can just go back
circumstantial.
in with an extra
So okay,
stick
let's look
and
at
apply the
blood. Take,
wax
for
where you
instance,
feel
the
like you
blood
need
on the
it.
shoe. was
It
just
doesn't
a
always have
small
to be
speck on a white
perfect
shoe.
on your
The
first
speck
go.
was too small an amount to test in the
And you just
manual,
want
so
to
they couldn't say
smooth
for
that
sure.
wax
And it was
out. Make
even
sure you're
Michelle.
pressing
The
it into
defense
your
pointed
skin
out
and
that there were
applying
no
pressure
shoelaces, and
to make
they
sure that
said,
hair is
"Who would
getting
even wear
into
shoes
that
nowadays
wax.
on such a cold February day?"
And now if you do
The
make your strip
prosecution,
really, really
when they
thick,
got
you
up,
can see that
was
I'm not
like,
waiting that long for
"We're
the
looking at
wax
the
to
same thing.
dry.
That's not our
So the
question.
thicker your strip
We're
is,
seeing this, and
the
the
longer
reason there are no
it's gonna take
shoelaces
to
is
dry, and the thinner it is, obviously it's going to dry a lot faster.
He probably got rid of
So
it just like he would have gotten rid of the gun if he did. So their argument, at least for me, the prosecution's argument seems legitimate, but again, circumstantial because you do not
And
have
see
those cases. You do not
all the
have
hair.
them. So the
that
defense keeps attacking
it didn't get up the first time.
circumstantial evidence, and this time they
And then
collected
I
a
just
speck of
take
blood
the
on the
mirror,
sweatshirt, which again
get close,
was too
make
small
sure
to
all the
test,
hair
so
is
they
gone.
decided to completely throw that out.
And then after
But the
that, I'm just gonna
prosecution
go
thought they had
in
something
with
solid.
my
They
oil.
did have this spot of blood
It's
on
the same oil
Charles'
that you guys
bed,
have in
and
your
that spot was
kit.
big enough to be testable. And when
And you
they
just need like a
tested it,
squirt or
it
two.
was
You're just
Michelle's
gonna go
blood.
under
Now, the
and clean up
defense
any
says
wax,
they have an excuse
little
for this
residue
too.
that might be left over.
They said, well, I
Shouldn't
mean,
be
that's
too
not
much.
surprising. They dated on and off. Maybe she had a nose bleed
And then
before.
that's
You can't
it.
tell when the blood got there. This is totally explainable.
And that's
And at
everything
one
that
point
you have to
in the
do.